Spins, I will give you the floor first. Who is your first prospect of the week this week?
So in a traditional sense, prospect of the week is really highlighting guys who have played well since the last time you and I recorded, Sam. And with that being last Sunday, I want to hit a guy who's had two really, really good games and basically hasn't missed a shot. Taylor Hendricks of Central Florida, I think, is playing himself in contention to be a potential one-and-done guy. You had mentioned and brought up his name a little bit earlier as one of those middle part of the high school rankings coming into this year, but NBA scouts find themselves enamored with him, and there's a big reason why. He's about 6'8", like really big, strong-bodied wing. You think he's a little taller than that?
I have heard that he might come in above 6'9".
Ooh, me likey. So Hendricks is continuing to grow. He's continuing to find confidence. I think UCF has been the perfect spot for him because they allow him to play in so many different ways and roles and not just be a bigger wing floor spacer that I think he would be more of if you were playing on a true high major contender type of team. Today against Tarleton, 16 points, 6 of 7 from the field, 3 of 3 from deep, 9 boards, 2 blocks, a handful of really good passes. I think he's starting to explore the space a little bit more as a creator. Last weekend against Samford, 21 points, similarly 6 of 7 from the field, 4 of 5 from 3. So yes, he is 7 of 8 from his last 2 games from deep. And
yeah, and the shot looks good.
It looks great. It's quick. It's smooth. He hits it in a variety of different ways. They had him in some pick and pop actions. They have him spacing the floor in the corners. He had one awesome play last weekend against Samford where, because he's a little bit taller, smaller defender on him, trying to crowd him and poke the ball away, got jarred loose a little bit, but he just went right behind his back, got it to his left hand, took one dribble and pulled it up from 3. Like, there's just so much unexplored shot making there. I think the physicality and his movement patterns on the defensive end make him somebody that can guard bigger wings and potentially both the 3 and the 4 at the NBA level. He just checks so many boxes for what NBA teams look for, and he's much more advanced and polished farther along than I thought he would be. 10 dunks and 19 three-pointers through 9 games that he's played this year. Those are really, really high numbers. He's knocking on the door of being a first-round pick, Sam.
I had a scout ask me earlier this week, what is the difference between Taylor Hendricks and Brandon Miller? And I thought it was an interesting question. I think Brandon is just a more fluid athlete. I think he plays with more bend. I think that he's more switchable defensively. I think Hendricks is probably a little bit better of a weak side rim protector. I think that he uses his length on the defensive end in help situations a little bit better. But I think that Miller has a lot more upside as a ball handler once he gets the footwork stuff down, because his body mechanics allow him to play with real bend. And I think it's just more technical stuff that he's working through now. Hendricks plays a little bit more upright, and I think he's probably going to be resigned to being more of an off-ball player in the NBA. Now, I think that might also end up being the case with Brandon Miller, where he is more of an off-ball player if he can't work through some of the footwork stuff, some of the tightness of handle stuff. But I would take the upside of Brandon Miller still. But I thought it was interesting that that question got posed to me, just in terms of scouts will often pose to me these interesting hypotheticals, right? Where one guy is seen as very different than another player, right? In a different tier of prospect than a guy that's like in the lottery, right? And make you critically think about what the difference is between the two players. I do think Brandon is a better prospect, but I think that that is an interesting comparison that is worth at least kind of thinking through, right?
Well, and it's a testament to how productive Hendricks has been to start the season and consistent in that regard, that he can go from being a guy that I didn't see mentioned pretty much anywhere coming into this draft cycle as a one and done, like an intriguing prospect with some NBA upside long-term, sure, but one and done, I wasn't really seeing a lot of that chatter or from people that I was talking to, hearing that he was in that range. For him to not only kind of bust through that area this quickly into the season, but then have what does he do differently than Brandon Miller? Are we sure that they're not too different in terms of the types of players that they are. To have that question be popped up is just a testament to how consistent and good Hendricks has been.